Hello and welcome into SportsZone All Access on this Tuesday, November 4th. Ian Sachs, Kelsey Dennehy. And Kelsey, we've talked a lot about high school and college football the last couple of days. Now it's time to talk college basketball.
What the heck?
As a college basketball junkie myself, I am so happy that the season is back. We have actual games to talk about. The season tipped off yesterday. I don't know about you, but I was locked in on every game all across the country.
I graduated from a basketball school, so I'm as locked in as you are. I'm looking forward to it.
A basketball school that's now a football school, but we'll get to that.
Yeah. We'll just stick to basketball for today, okay?
It's always going to be basketball in Indiana. A lot to break down. We'll start in today's show by talking about the four local teams, and we'll start with the SDSU men. They picked up a win over Merrimack in the Field of 68 marathon at the Sanford Pentagon. The Jacks, it looked a little dicey there in the second half, but they closed the game on a big run to pull out the win over the school from Massachusetts.
Yeah, they did. The school from Massachusetts. That's funny. And I actually live 15 minutes from that school at home. But yeah, they came out in that back end of the second half and really put on a show. I mean, what a testament to their defense to start the season like that and be able to stand so tall and be able to help kind of get them back in the game there for a second.
You mentioned that defense in the second half, holding Merrimack to 28.5 shooting percentage in the second half compared to 38 in the first half. And it was a 5-point Jacks lead. So that defense really locking down. But Jaden Jackson had a great game for the Jacks. 23 points on the night, 17 in the first half. He was 5 for 5 from downtown and was really the big catalyst and the big reason why the Jacks held the lead in that first half.
I mean, when you get a guy who can shoot so effectively from three, that is so dangerous. That's so dangerous because it eliminates having to work hard down low, having to work in the paint and potentially cause some extra turnovers, but also if you have a guy who can shoot threes consistently and then you have guys who can rebound, you're golden. And I think that is what pulled the Jacks through at the end of this game. Rebounding
was a big thing last year with Oscar Clough, one of the best rebounders in the country. Behind Jackson in the box score, Matthew Moore's 16 points, Damon Wilkinson 10 points. Wilkinson getting the start, so a big piece for him and a big elevation to see more minutes this year. But let's move down the road to Vermilion and the USD men suffering a 2-point overtime loss to Utah Tech to open the season. This was just a back-and-forth game throughout the contest, and the Yotes end up coming up 2 points short.
Yeah, this one was a tricky one. For South Dakota, they really didn't have too many heavy hitters besides Isaac Bruns. He came away from the night with 23 points. Everybody else around the 8, 9, 6, 7 mark. And when I look at like turnovers and fouls and stuff, it's not anything crazy. So Utah just gave them a good game and they were able to edge them out in the end.
The one stat that I'm going to point to, 3-point shooting. The Coyotes 2 of 17 for the game.
That is a big one.
1 of 7 in the first half, 1 of 8 in the second half, 0 for 2 in the extra period. And in this day and age of college basketball, you need to be able to shoot the three ball well. And the Yotes didn't do it in night one, but you mentioned Isaac Bruns there leading the way for the Yotes with 23 points. He had 17, I believe, in the second half. So a big reason why the Yotes were still in that game down the stretch, even though they were struggling to shoot the ball.
It's funny you mentioned three-pointers because were we not just talking about how dangerous it is when you can shoot three, but it also becomes dangerous on a different level when you can't shoot threes because your guys are working so much harder in the paint and down low to be able to keep up. And so it'll be interesting to see how that progresses for the Yotes this season.
Yeah, need to be able to shoot the three ball. We know that Bruns can do it. We know that he can be effective out there from deep. 0 for 4 last night for him. But still, a great game for Bruns to start things off. And, you know, the Coyotes, some things to clean up, but also some positives as well that you can take from a tough contest against a WAC team. You mentioned dangerous. A player that's dangerous is Brooklyn Meyer. And the night that she had 33 points, 8 rebounds, 5 blocks, leading the SDSU women to a 78-62 win over Creighton on the road. That's a Blue Jay team that's receiving votes in the USA Today coaches poll. And it was a big fourth quarter for the Jackrabbits to pull out this win, outscoring the Blue Jays 26-15 in the final 10 minutes.
What? I mean, it seems like all of these games we're talking about coming down to the final minutes, and how exciting to start a season that way. But just such dominance in the first game of the season. Brooklyn Meyer was 1 point away from matching her career high, to put it into context. So what a great start, and how promising for the Jackrabbits for her to be so dominant from the jump, being able to rely on her so heavily. It's exciting stuff, honestly. I'm excited to watch the rest of her season.
That's Summit League preseason player of the year and player of the year 2 years ago for the conference in Brooklyn Meyer. And 14 of 20 from the floor last night, 5 of 6 from the free throw line. Those 8 rebounds, those 5 blocks, 5 assists as well. So can you say she's doing a little bit of everything?
She's dynamic.
In her 36 minutes of action, Katie Vasika next on the team with 18 points per game. It's a kind of a new look starting lineup for the Jacks this year. They went with Meyer and Vasika, Mathewitz, Maddie Hartwig, and Emily Fox as the starting 5 last year. Not that much depth. Only played 8 players in the game, did Coach Aaron Johnston, but still coming away with the win. And we mentioned that fourth quarter, they shot 85% from the floor.
That's
in the
insane.
Fourth quarter. 11 for 13. And you talk about the biggest moments and not shying away, not caving under pressure. That's the complete opposite of that. That's converting in the biggest moments.
And some of that, like part of it, you can say it has something to do with shots falling. But in the same breath, that's telling me that not only are they getting good looks, but they're putting their best foot forward at those good looks, and it clearly paid off for them. And a big road win for the Jacks to start the season.
Definitely a big one there. Well, talking about big wins, USD 104-33 over York University from Nebraska. The Coyotes raced out to a 30-2 lead at the end of the first quarter and then just cruised from there. York only scored double figures in the fourth quarter. By that point, the game firmly out of control and out of hand there, but a big maybe kind of get-right game a little bit for the Yotes, a team that struggled last year, and they had Grace Larkins. Now no more Grace Larkins for the Yotes, and now they come out with a big win. Of course, it's against an NAIA school, but still, you need to see the ball go in the basket to gain some confidence, and that certainly happened for the Yotes.
To gain some confidence and also just get comfortable being on the floor with your teammates and running certain plays. It's a lot easier to do so when you're playing a team like York who can't really pressure as much as you might be used to. So I think it's a non-con season opener game. Like it doesn't really surprise me that was the outcome, but I'm sure there's plenty. And now they have film. Now they have things they can watch and things that they can improve on and things that they can continue to do well with. That's always helpful when you're starting a season, especially with a team that might not have as much experience. Game
reps, always important no matter who the opponent is and what you can do when go back to the drawing board. What you see on film, as you said, there are 3 players in double figures. Everyone who got into the game for USD, 1 played at least 6 minutes, and 2 scored, found the bottom of the net. So big things to improve there for a team that's looking to have a lot of depth this year.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, it's always a great night when your team's in double digits, when you have multiple girls in double digits, but like you said, plenty to improve on and plenty to look ahead to.
Okay, well, we kind of teased it a little bit off the top. SDSU participating in the Field of 68 opening day showcase at the Pentagon. We'll have a full story about that coming up next. You're watching SportsZone All Access. Welcome back to SportsZone All Access on this Tuesday, November 4th. And Kelsey, we talked about it right off the top that it was a big day of opening day for college basketball. All four of the local teams in action. The Field of 68 opening day showcase back in Sioux Falls once again. A triple header out at the Pentagon. And Travis Fossing went out there to detail and describe what the scene was like.
The Field of 68 opening day marathon includes 6 Division I men's basketball games this year, split between Rock Hill, South Carolina, and the Sanford Pentagon in Sioux Falls.
This building, this facility is one of the coolest facilities, one of the hidden gems, I think, in the sport of college basketball. So they made it really easy for us to come up here.
Rob Douster is the owner of the Field of 68, the podcast network behind the event, and says this is one of his favorite days of the year.
Everyone's fired up about the first day of college football season. Everyone loves the first day of the NFL season. And it never felt like that was something that people got excited about for college basketball. So being able to have 4 games where there is nothing else going on in the world of sports, you can just sit here and focus on the fact that college basketball is here. It's something we can celebrate.
This year's the Field of 68 event at the Sanford Pentagon will feature no shortage of local ties.
They know the angle that we want to play and make sure that we've got some local ties so that there's something for everybody in each one of these games, whether it's Ryan Miller making his debut close to home, you've got Hendo coming back to the region, to the state, and of course South Dakota State to finish the night off.
Jesse Smith is the vice president of Sanford Sports, where they're quickly approaching their 100th D1 college basketball game.
To kick off the season with the Field of 68 guys, it gives the sport a boost, it gives the community a boost, and it kind of reminds everybody college basketball is back.
And Smith hopes to be part of opening day for many years to come. In Sioux Falls, Travis Fossing, KELOLAND News.
Yeah, just a lot of fun there at the Pentagon yesterday. Teased all the big storylines. Of course, SDSU playing their second straight year. The Jacks were part of the festivities. But also you heard there Ryan Miller coming back. The legendary Miller family in Mitchell, South Dakota. Ryan a part of it, brother of Mike Miller, and then Ryan's nephew, Mike's son, Mason, playing for Murray State, playing for his uncle, and played pretty well, had 12 points in the Racers win. Hendo coming back, Eric Henderson, the Jacks head coach the last couple of years, now at Drake, and his first game at Drake in a very familiar place in South Dakota, in Sioux Falls, where he coached the Jacks. So just a lot of fun. Kelsey, your thoughts on the event so far?
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like a great day. I think it's a great opportunity for the city of Sioux Falls and really telling to the fact that Field of 68 keeps wanting to come back, and that the hospitality and the atmosphere is exactly what they're looking for. So I love watching college basketball, so I'm never going to complain when there's a full day of it.
Yeah, and a good point that last year it was just the one triple header here at the Pentagon in Sioux Falls. This year the event expanded. It was 3 games at the Pentagon, also 3 games in South Carolina. So it shows you that this was a good event and a successful event last year, that not only did they come back with it, but now they expanded it and doubled it up.
Yeah, I mean, it's huge. It's a great opportunity for that community in South Carolina and here as well. It's exciting stuff and a lot of great hometown ties, which, I mean, we love talking about all of that stuff just because it's awesome to see all of the invisible strings that come together for events like these.
Well, and I think another big thing is that they're able to have those marquee matchups in that you have some of the best mid-major programs squaring off against each other. You're not seeing a Division I team playing a Division II or III or NAIA school. It's 2 high-power teams that, hey, when we come time to Selection Sunday, these could be games that could impact whether a team gets into the tournament or not, or whether a team gets an 11 seed over a 12 seed. So these could have big ramifications 4 months from now.
It's a great starting test for these teams, like you said. And if you think about it, like none of those games were like large deficits. They were close games and they were really competitive, which that's not something you typically see in early non-con games nowadays. And so that's really exciting stuff.
Yeah, certainly exciting. More college basketball games like that. Pentagon's going to be busy the next couple of days. Well, when we come back, more on the Field of 68 showcase. I was able to sit down with Ryan Miller before the event and hear what it's like now being a head coach. That story coming up next on SportsZone All Access. Welcome back to SportsZone All Access. Ian Sachs, Kelsey Dennehy. And Kelsey, it's been a big basketball day that we've talked about, and Field of 68 opening day showcase was yesterday. Now on Sunday, I was able to sit down with Murray State head coach Ryan Miller just about the anticipation of his first season as a head coach, first game as a head coach, and what it means to be back in South Dakota. That conversation right now. Okay, so Coach Ryan Miller joining us now. And Coach, to be back in South Dakota for your first head coaching game, how does that feel?
Oh, it feels pretty special. Obviously, I grew up in Mitchell, South Dakota. Family still living in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. My parents are still here. Brother and sister, Jared and Chelsea, they still have family here. So it's a pretty surreal moment. Just thank everybody at the Sanford Pentagon. Thank the Field of 68, Rob Doster and Jeff Goodman for hosting us.
What brought you to Murray State? What was that interview process like, and why that job?
I had a really good job. I was the offensive coordinator and assistant head coach at Creighton under Coach McDermott, one of the best coaches in the country. So it took a special place. It took a place that had a lot of rich basketball history. It took a place that was invested in the new era of college athletics on a rev share standpoint, on a transfer portal standpoint, where we could execute a game plan, execute a strategy to be able to win recruiting battles. And the history there. They have many, many great coaches, Steve Prom, Mick Cronin, the list goes on and on and on. And they've had great players, John Morant, Isaiah Cannon, Campaign. So it's a place that has rich history, a great fan base, and a place that's invested in the future of college athletics.
How have you grown as a coach over the first couple months on the job?
Yeah, I mean, a lot's thrown at you. I mean, you are in charge of, for our team, we have 15 staff members, give or take a few, and 15 players, so you're in charge of over 30 people. So that changes a lot. But just every day you're learning something new. There's no doubt about it. Whether you're assistant coach or head coach, it's a process, and you're in the game of sports and competition. You're constantly learning. If you're not learning something, you're falling behind.
What's been the biggest thing that you've learned over the course of the last couple months?
Just the management of people. Again, like I said, it's like I'm managing a place, not just players, but a staff, 15-plus people, 15-plus players, and families. Families have a lot invested in their young players, moms and dads, and we're just making sure that we're doing the best job possible to make sure they have the best experience possible. And the best experience possible for us is putting them in a situation where they can win championships. So we'll push them every day, try to get the best version of themselves and our staff and our team, and that's what we do.
Talking about family, you have your nephew on your team. How special is that to have that family tie?
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. I mean, whenever, like you said, I had the first opportunity to coach, be the head coach at a program like Murray State with its rich history. Then being able to coach my nephew, Mason Miller, Mike's son, pretty awesome deal. And obviously coaching your first game in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, where my family lives, is pretty awesome.
What's this season going to look like for you guys?
We're going to try to, every time we step out in the court, we're going to try to play championship basketball. What's it look like for us? It is sharing the ball, being very super unselfish. It's pushing the ball in the court, creating tempo. It's being very tough, both physically and mentally. We know there's going to be some adversity. We're going to have to push through that adversity. But we also want to be able to be tough physically. When we're fighting for a ball, and it's a 50-50 ball, we want to be the ones to come up with it. And then we just want to compete at everything we do with urgency and passion. And that's hopefully what our team looks like. If we do those three things, the championships will follow.
Well, Coach, appreciate the time and good luck this season.
Thank you so much. We look forward to it. Thank you.
All right, so Kelsey, fun to talk with Ryan Miller there. The Racers won 85-77 over reigning Summit League champion Omaha, and just pretty cool to hear about his journey to get to be a head coach now, and now he gets to do it starting right back in almost his hometown.
You can't write that story better, right? Like how cool, and obviously I think it was intentional having him coach his first his coach's first game as a head coach. There we go. in Sioux Falls, so his family was able to watch. He's coaching his nephew. So just a great all-around experience. I definitely took away, he is somebody who is very interested in learning, and that's how, and getting better, and that's how he got in that position. So it'll be interesting to see how he continues doing that as a head coach, and I'm excited to watch his team this year.
Yeah, the Racers in a very tough Missouri Valley conference that is always one of the best mid-major conferences across the country. So he's going to have his hands full, but nice to get a W in his first game. And talking to him yesterday after the game, he kind of breathed a little sigh of relief knowing that win number 1 was under his belt. But let's step aside, and when we come back, we'll look at what's on tap for KELOLAND Sports. Later on tonight, you're watching SportsZone All Access on KELOLAND Plus. Welcome back to SportsZone All Access, final segment of the day. And Kelsey, we quickly look ahead to the rest of the day on KELOLAND Sports. And we started off with big news out of Minnesota and Minneapolis, the Twins announcing their new manager. So exciting times for Twins fans, I think. Looking forward to a new era for the Twins, for sure. That's a given based on what happened today.
There you go. Yeah, a new era, and we'll hear from Shelton tonight and kind of hear what he has to say. I know there's a lot of discourse around the Twins organization right now, and Twins fans have a lot of feelings. So I'm intrigued to hear what he has to say about all of that, and what he does say, I guess, is more what I'm thinking.
Yeah, so we'll see, what happens with the Twins. And then high school volleyball playoffs. We had the first couple of out-bracket games yesterday. Now classes A and B really in full swing in the postseason. We'll have highlights from both classes coming up tonight. I know, Kelsey, you and I will both be out shooting a couple of games and looking forward to, seeing who can continue their season.
Yeah, it's playoff anything is always exciting. I like to call it free volleyball, free football. It's awesome. So I'm looking forward to seeing what teams kind of show up and show out.
Well, all that coming up tonight on KELOLAND Sports. That'll do it for us here on SportsZone All Access. Kelsey Dennehy, Ian Sachs signing off. We'll catch you tomorrow.
Bye, guys.